What is up, guys, and welcome back to a brand new video. Today we are here for the finale of season 1 of F1 22 My Team Career Mode. This has been a long time coming. Yeah, it's taken us it's taken over half a year to finish one season of career mode, but hopefully we can do a little bit more come the end of the game's life cycle. I am aiming to get at least 2 full seasons. I mean, it'd be a miracle to get 3 in, but from season 2 onwards, the seasons are going to be much shorter, so they'll be reduced to 16 races. So that is what's going to be happening from season 2 onwards. But firstly, we got to finish off this season first. If you haven't seen the last episode, the Brazilian Grand Prix, which was also the final sprint weekend, make sure you go check that out in the top right hand corner, or the link will be in the description below. So a short break between Brazil and Abu Dhabi. Quickly looking at the driver market. Anyone who we can potentially sign if Oscar doesn't want to stay. Mark Webber is something that I've definitely been keeping an eye on. And here's the results that we've had from, if you compare them to our season and to Oscar's. Well, Oscar, the results where he is, that's basically where our car has been all season. But consistently in the top 20, with 1 or 2 retirements, or finishing plumb last in the in everything else that's or with the field that anyway, let's just move on. So as you can see, we've only got 2 parts to protect going into season 2. Once we get through practice 1, we'll have more than enough resource points to invest in those parts. Maybe even focus on a little bit of durability. Maybe get a head start on that, or maybe something in the chassis department. I'm not so sure what we could do at this point. We'll see in just a second how much resource points we've got. So look at that, good haul of resource points. Where are we at? 1300 exactly. So that's more than enough to save the last 2 parts in the aero powertrain departments. So once we get those 2 sorted, we could probably look at some other upgrades that we could do to maybe get us even more of a head start for season 2. I'm not so sure where we're going to be at the start of the next season. That's something that I'm not too sure about, whether we're actually going to stay dead last or something else. Who knows? I'm not sure what is going to happen at the start of season 2. The only thing that we can do right now is just get through this season of My Team Career Mode. That's only what I'm focusing on at the moment. But the quicker we can get this done, the quicker we can focus on season 2. So that's one part done. That was like 250 resource points down the drain. We can do a minor DRS upgrade, but however, that we're going to have to quickly protect that part, which I don't think we will. And that's the final powertrain department. 750 resource points to spend. MG UK, we haven't even done an upgrade to yet. I think we might as well just do that, so we could give a bit of a head start for season 2. So here we go then for the final time in season 1, the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. And as you see right now, we've just gone for a flying lap. We've come out right behind Alex Albon, who's trying to let us through, but I decided no, we're going to let Seb go through because I'm pretty sure he's on a flying lap. So we're going to go ahead and do our banker run and see if it's good enough to get us into Q2 or not. Hopefully in season 2 we can get it to more Q2 appearances and maybe just get through Q1 in 1 lap. I'm not sure. We'll only have to find out when we actually get to season 2, or when we actually finish this race. A little bit wide at the newly banked turn 9. Still having to try and get used to this circuit a little bit. Still have to try and adjust the braking points a little bit, especially through the hotel section. I haven't really quite got used to that as of yet, but I think I have been getting better the further we've gone down the road. So as you can see, we put a bit more fuel in, or actually the same amount of fuel, because as you can see, we're going out with under 4.5 minutes to go, because I want to do a flying, or start my flying lap as Oscar Piastri is coming out of the pit lane. So that means I could do my lap, and hopefully when I'm done, we can wait for Piastri so that we can give him a nice tow down the 2 straights. The only reason why I'm doing this second lap is because I don't quite feel comfortable that that our first lap was gonna get us into Q2. So we're a little bit down in sector 1, but this is where we should find a lot of our time getting this slipstream from Alex Albon. He goes a bit defensive down the main straight, but what it does is just gives us a nice tow down the straight, and he tries to even come back at us there. Honestly, I do not know why. So as you can see, we're not finding a lot of time, so we're about 2 and a bit tenths up as we go through the hotel section right here. You're consistently turning left. Honestly, I do not know whether to use the curb on the outside between 13 and 14. But yeah, much better end to the lap. This is going to be a 4 and a bit tenth improvement. 24 flat gets us P9. Where is Oscar Piastri? He's going through turn 14 now. We've let Albon go through. So now this is what I'm doing here. Just waiting for Piastri to just get around these couple of corners. And now that we are right in front of him, he knows almost what I'm doing. Oh, Latifi just made a mistake at turn 5. So there he is now. We're going to give him a lovely tow all the way down these 2 straights. So we don't have much battery to play with. In fact, I'm not even using any battery because I'm not even on a flying lap. I'm just here to help Oscar out a little bit. We should be pretty safely to get into Q2. So now it's whether this slipstream will help Oscar improve and get him into Q2. So here we go. He's not quite close enough to what I was kind of hoping for, but we've given him a tow. We're going to move out of the way and let him go and complete his lap without any interruptions, as we let the Alpine, is it the Alpine? Yes, an Alpine of Esteban Ocon go through. Where is Oscar? We only dropped down to 12th from 9th, and he is 19th. So that's a bit disappointing. For us, honestly, I'm not too sure what more we can do, in all honesty. There's not really, I can't really think of anything else for us to do at this point. I'm literally just lost for ideas. Honestly, I just am. So we're going out of the same set of tyres for the very first set of tyres that we used in Q1. This will be our banker lap, and then we'll go out a little bit later than Q1 to set our final. We go P9, P10 in our first one. I think we dropped down to outside the top 10. Adjusting tyre wear or tyre temps. That's the setup we're running with, 2220 wings, but we increased that just for a bit more cast stability, because especially through turns 3, the fast right-hander, I'm just I just don't feel quite comfortable with the car at the moment. So here we go, final lap in Q2. We're going to speed things up right here, turn 3. The car just feels a little bit slidey in some places. So as you can see, we're getting a nice slipstream off Guan Yu Zhou, and we're going to get a nice dose all the way down the main straight. But this is where we should be relatively quicker than him. As you can see here, look at how much we've gained on him just through here. Hopefully it's not enough to interrupt our lap. We're over a second up as we enter the last corner. How much more time can we find? A little bit wide at the last turn. 1.1 second improvement. It doesn't quite get us into Q3. That would have been superb if we had gone to Q3, displacing Kevin Magnussen. But no, it's 11th on the grid. The one thing that I am a little bit concerned about heading into this last race was the wear on the gearbox. That's our only concern for this race. So I think given that where we are, I don't think, or what's the wear on the gearbox? I think it was like 70 odd percent, or whatever, component 4 for the gearbox. I'm not too sure. Just checking the other. So yeah, 74% on the current gearbox that we're taking, but we're gonna have to take a grid penalty for this race.
So here we are, ready to go racing for one final time this year. Another season of victories, controversies and rivalries lies in our wake. And just one challenge remains, here in the United Arab Emirates, on a circuit that made its spectacular debut back in 2009. Welcome to the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. The drivers will be racing here at the Yas Marina circuit through 16 corners and a lap distance of around 3.28 miles. There are a few opportunities to pass with long straights and DRS zones in 2 places, so plenty of close racing, then plenty of speed and plenty of drama to be found in the laps ahead. It's time to see how our drivers are stacking up after yesterday's exciting qualifying session. Charles Leclerc lines up on pole position. Sergio Perez lines up alongside. Looking at the rest of today's grid, we have Hamilton, Ricciardo, Max Verstappen and Russell, Mick Schumacher, Sainz, Magnussen and Alex Albon, Skip, Joe, Lance Stroll and Oscar Piastri, Bottas, Vettel, they've taken a grid penalty, Lando Norris and Pierre Gasly, Latifi, Tsunoda, Fernando Alonso, they'll be starting further back after an earlier grid penalty, and Esteban Ocon lines up at the back of the grid. It's almost time for those 5 red lights to go out then. Let's see who can prevail today.
Okay, this is the final race of the season, just get out there and enjoy it.
Thank you very much, Mark, and let's hope we can have a solid finish. Welcome, guys, to the grid for the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Simple strategy, mediums to hards. Funny that we've taken ourselves a grid penalty, but we've lost nothing with that gearbox change. So, but the only reason I did that was because I just didn't feel confident that we would even make it to the end of the race on that gearbox. But here we go, one final time here in Abu Dhabi. Someone's round at the back. It's one of the Alpines. I don't know who it is, but one of the Alpines has spun coming onto the grid. That is proper strange. Let me tell you that. Anyway, round turn 1, we go relatively cleanly. Look at the exit from Joe as he tries to get around us. We're up the inside for turn 3. Now he'll have the inside for turn 5, but he chooses not to cover. There's a door open, and we go right in that door, and we are back up where we started, back into 11th place. But this is where we can probably gain another position or 2. But look at Gasly, that straight line speed of the AlphaTauri, and we're using our battery, but considering that where our car is, I'm not surprised about that. Anyway, look at how everyone's slugging. We had tried to have a look at the inside of Kevin Magnussen, but we've had to go across the dirt because he would have cut us off 100%. Regardless of what would happen, if we stayed up his inside, there was going to be contact, and he would have just turned straight in on us. Anyway, up the inside of Gasly, turn 9, he turned in a little bit. Well, totally, I was not expecting that. Anyway, round turn 9, we get through relatively cleanly, I hope so. Okay, let's just settle down for the time being, and let's just see if we can catch back up to Kevin Magnussen before DRS gets enabled. Joe got past Gasly. Those two might have had a bit of a squabble in the mid sector, which allowed that. Oh, here's a replay of what happened. Oh no, this is another replay. I'm losing my words here. Anyway, so Joe tried to get up the inside of Gasly, but I think Gasly held it around the outside on that lap, and he was able to fend off Guan Yu Zhou, and Gasly is back up into 12th place. So now DRS is enabled. We are comfortably ahead of Gasly for the time being. We stay within the DRS of the cars ahead for the time being. As long as we can stay ahead or stay within this DRS train, I think we should be relatively okay. Look at this, 3 wide down the back straight, involving Verstappen, Sainz, and I think that's Mick Schumacher in the Haas. 3 wide at the apex, but it's Carlos Sainz who goes round the outside, and he gets both of them. It was nowhere near behind these guys all the way down that straight, but it looks like Verstappen is going to get around the outside. I think he should be able to get it done. He'll have the inside for 10, 11 and 12, so I think he should get that done, and I think he has. And here we are arriving on the scene as well. Oh, Mick, he's so slow to get off the apex of turn 12, which leaves us a little vulnerable. Here we are on board with Mick. What's happened? Oh, he just locked up. He locked up the inside front. I think that's what happened there. So now that's actually not great for us, because that's brought Gasly back into the mix, which is not great for us because we were just sitting comfortably in this DRS train. So we're gonna have to try and fend off Gasly as much as we can here, which it is not going to be easy. The further we get into this race. Missed the apex at the last turn a little bit. I'm always trying to adjust the run through 15 and on the run to 16, the last couple of corners. But what I have noticed is that I've been able to go flat out during the race and in qualifiers. We nearly rear-ended Kevin Magnussen. But as you can see here, we are able to go almost or pretty much flat out. We're going to dive up the inside of Kevin Magnussen. We squeeze him out onto the curb, and that is a point against our name at the moment. Here comes Gasly, trying to go around the outside of Magnussen. I wasn't hoping for this to happen, and has Gasly passed? Yes, he has. So that's not what I was kind of hoping for. I was hoping that Magnussen would kind of hold Gasly up a little bit and not allow me to stay with Schumacher and Albon while he has an argument with K-Mag fighting for the final points. So anyway, we're up into 9th. All 22 runners still in this race. That's Albon that's just dived into the pit lane. So we're almost halfway through this race already. I'm not so sure what the plan is at the moment. Well, I think this is our pit window. So can we? Well, where are we going to pop out at the end of this pit cycle? We'll have to wait and see. I'm not so sure how many people are on a two-star, but look at the run we got here on Mick Schumacher. Can we have a look up the inside of 12? It's not really an overtaking spot, but we've made it work. And well, to be honest, I was kind of desperate to make this happen, apparently, because I don't want to be sticking around here even during the pit stop cycles, because I want to get past and try getting some clean air after the pit stops. But let's have a look at this. So we've had to turn in pretty early, but as you can see, the left hand front, I reckon that's pretty much over the white line. But what about the rear? Look at how close the rear is to crossing that white line. I'd say that's probably just about, and I mean like seriously, just within the white lines there. If this was strict corner cutting rules, I don't know what would have happened there. Lance Stroll is out of the race halfway through this race, and we're into the pit stop cycles now. Ricardo and Russell are into the lane as well. They've gone on to hards. That confirms they're doing a one stop. Apparently the only one who is doing a two stop, from what I know, was Carlos Sainz. He already made his pit stop about lap 7 or 8 or whatever. The stops were not going to last too long. I'm assuming that he was on the softs, or if so, he might have done medium. I'm not too sure exactly what it's up, but I don't care because I'm focusing on my race. So Albon has come out ahead of us, and Gasly is come out right within Mick Schumacher. This is Piastri. What's he going on to? I think he's gone on to a set of hard compound tyres. So Oscar's been doing, he's followed the same strategy as me, but he just hasn't had, he hasn't had the outright pace to really match it with me. I don't know. I honestly don't know what it is, whether he performed to the maximum of what his car is doing, but when you compare him to us, we're potentially fighting for points here in this race as long as we can keep the car in a straight line. But Oscar's, he's been nowhere really for the majority of this season. So I'm not so sure what else we can do to help him out, really. Well, we can't really help him out now because we're focusing on catching Alex Albon for potentially 8th, maybe 7th. I'm not sure when. It depends when Carlos Sainz comes in for his pit stop as well. Anyway, so we're approaching the last 11 laps of this race, but once again, we've kind of compromised our race because fuel burn has actually been a bit of a drama again. So anyway, this is Carlos Sainz coming into the pit lane for his second stop, and it's a set of hard compound tyres with 10 laps to go. I mean, if he did medium, I'd understand that, but couldn't he have waited a few more laps? Maybe put the softs on? He would have gotten awfully close to Daddy Rick. Whether he would pass him or not would be another question. So, as you can see here, 1.6 seconds as we enter turn 5 on lap number 22. We're still hanging in there with Albon at the moment. I'm waiting for that right opportunity to try and make a move. And look at that, Carlos has already cut the motor by nearly a second already. Within about 90 odd seconds of racing. But here we go, lap 23, he's right behind us, and what we're doing is we're going to back off, and that's the detection line just before you turn in for 5, and we are going to get a dose of DRS, and if Carlos and Albon can have a little squabble, it'll invite me back into the party. So this is something that, you know, I've been kind of thinking about for the last few laps before Carlos could catch us, but he hasn't been able to overtake Albon into turn 9 on the previous lap. So here we go with 5 laps to go. Carlos should be able to make the move on Alex this time around. I'm not so sure whether he actually can make the overtake work. Well, he has now. He's up the inside for 6. He's actually gone in a little bit too deep, and that invites Albon back into the mix a little bit. Was Albon behind the detection line? I think he was, because his rear wing's open, and he might be able to sneak back up the inside in a turn 9, and he's got the move done. Albon gets the move done, but look at Sainz, he's got so much more grip. He's gone right around the outside. What a move from Carlos Sainz. Just when Albon thought he had him covered off, Sainz just goes, no, I'm going to go around the outside. I've got more grip than you, and I'm going to sail back past. So that's a pretty good move there from Carlos. Yellow flag at turn 14. That looks like a Red Bull. Looks like we're on board. I think this is Verstappen, and I think that's Sergio Perez, who is pulling off at 15. What is it with Perez in Abu Dhabi? Something just does not work for him at this circuit, in all honesty. And here we are arriving on the scene where Perez is stopping on the track. So with Perez out of the race, we are now in a fight for P7 in the final race of the season. And P7 was where we finished in the last Abu Dhabi Grand Prix from season 1 of F1 2021. So can history repeat itself if we can get Albon in the dying laps of this race? So here we go, 4 laps to go. We've been saving as much fuel as possible, but I think by now we can start pushing a little bit more just to get as close as possible to the back of that Williams. Honestly, we're not that far away from the Williams in the performance index, but because we pitted 1 lap later, we do have a bit more grip and a bit more rubber in our disposal. And as you can see, we've taken a different line to Alex at turn 5. That's an AlphaTauri. I think it's Gasly who's made a mistake, I think, at turn 5. So he's now fallen out to the point that Haas could be looking at a double points finish here. So anyway, look at this. We're right behind Alex right now. But this is where I know he's got it ever so slightly lift. Yep, you can see that. We're up the inside of Albon. We kind of squeezed him out a little bit. There's contact between us, and we are up into 7th place. But Alex tries to cut back up the inside. He's touched us. He's bashed us off the track, and we come back on ahead, or with a bit of a bigger gap than what it originally was. So here we are, on board with Albon. I knew he was going to be slower at 15, and well, to be honest, he kind of ran a little bit wide, trying to give me a bit more space, but he would have felt the contact. He's a slow-mo, so yeah, look at this. We're definitely far enough up the inside. We've made the apex. There's still space given, and Albon, to be honest, we're kind of, when you look at it from that perspective, we're both pointing at the apex. But if you look at it from different angles, it wouldn't be the case. Now here's the slow-mo at turn 1. See, Albon has missed the apex compared to me at the last turn. That is where the contact is made, and you can see we've gone off the track, and we've come back on ahead. To be honest, we were ahead going into the corner. Albon was well up our inside, but he's missed the apex, and he's kind of barged us off the track, if you know what I mean. But what I do know is that this man, Charles Leclerc, is going to finish off his championship-winning season in perfect style. He rounds the final corner, and he finishes off the season in style by winning the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix, and by some distance as well. There is a mug of Lewis Hamilton finishing in second place, and here is Max Verstappen finishing up the season with the podium finish. Unfortunately for Max, he will not have the number 1 on his car next season. It'll most likely go to Charles Leclerc if he chooses to take that number 1. Anyway, last lap for us now. We're doing a little bit of weaving to try and break the slipstream of Albon, but I know that he's not even going to think about a move from that far, but he gets really close in the braking zone. But with the good drive out of here, we can use all of our overtake, and well, that's job done pretty much. From here on out, we just need to get this car through the third sector, and it's going to be P7 to finish off this season, and that is all she wrote in season 1.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
A solid finish to finish off the season. 7th place. What more could I say in what has been a difficult season this is?
That's it then, they've taken the win here as we wrap up another fantastic Formula One season. Anthony Davidson, what helped them deliver this result, do you think?
Well, this was a real team victory. They put together a solid strategy today that appeared well suited to the conditions out on track. The driver did everything that was expected of them in the moment to really execute the team's plan to perfection. A shining example of how F1 really is a team sport.
And here we are, a team that is no stranger to the podium, taking their place on top once again. A sublime race today, and a stunning win for Ferrari.
Well, it's been a superb season for Charles Leclerc. His first championship, and he's finished it off in perfect style. Hamilton up there on the podium with Verstappen. He will no longer be having the number 1 on his car, Max. He'll have to give it to Charles Leclerc for season 2. Can he win that number 1 back next season? We'll only have to find out in the first episode of season 2 very, very shortly. But yeah, a tough season for us, and we finished it off with 8 points finish. Oscar coming home in 18th in the end after starting 14th, and honestly, he just cannot find a way to hold on to any positions. So now the real question is, does he want to stay with this team? I really hope that we can keep him for this season. So I mean, look at that, 25 points against our name. That's literally a race win. And we finished 11 points behind Valtteri Bottas in 10th. So we would have needed a few more points finishes to get it ourselves into the top 10. It wasn't quite the finale we were hoping for, unlike season 1 of F1 2021. But all in all, it's been a really tough season. There's not much more that we can do. Honestly, the only thing that we can really hope for was to get the parts that were specifically for a certain race that we could get on for that particular weekend, which would give us a big lift. But some of those things didn't go our way, and for Oscar to be up there fighting with us, he got his first points in Imola. Well, thanks to us. Fending off Lance Stroll, but honestly, I can't remember any other race where Piastri has performed better than that. I'm not sure. Let me know what you guys think down below. Oh, hang on. No, Kota or Mexico? I can't remember. Kota, Mexico. But no, definitely Brazil was another one that he had a solid run at. On that particular weekend, but I don't know. Given the car that he's been driving all season, I'm not so sure whether he wants to stay or not. But and if that's the case, what if he does leave? What if he goes for another lower tier team? I know that one day he wants to be world champion, but I'm confident that we can get this car. We can give him a car exactly what he's asking. It's just the only question that remains is whether he actually stays at the team. So that's that. All those questions will be answered at the start of season 2. Level 15 Team McLean. That'll be more than enough to get a third sponsor on the car. So that's something that we'll be looking at next season. So we've got all the cash. We've got all the resources that we have. 10.5 mil. That's more than enough to sign Oscar Piastri. So here's a glimpse of what's going to happen. Will we re-sign this man for season 2 of my team? We'll have to wait till the next episode.